HR tried to hide my husband's affair. So I exposed all of them. I'm a 33F, and until a few months ago, I thought I was living a pretty normal married life. My husband, 35M, works in management at a mid-sized tech company. For the past year, he kept telling me he was staying late for emergency deployments, client escalations, or team issues. I trusted him. I packed him dinners, made sure he had clean clothes, even left the lights on when he came home at 1 a.m. I was the supportive wife. The loyal wife. The stupid wife, or at least that's how I felt when everything came crashing down. About 4 months ago, one of his co-workers, someone I barely knew, messaged me on Instagram from a burner account. All it said was, check his work chat logs. He's not working late. No explanation. No details. Just that. My stomach dropped immediately. I asked my husband if everything was okay at work, and he snapped at me, saying I was micromanaging and not respecting his professional space. That reaction told me everything I needed to know. So the next night, when he went back to the office, I drove there. His car was in the parking lot. The lights were on in one wing. But when I walked inside, it wasn't his voice I heard, it was laughter. A woman's laughter. And then his. I didn't catch them physically doing anything that night, but the way they froze when I walked in was enough. I asked what was going on. He stammered some nonsense about mentoring and helping her with a project. She wouldn't even make eye contact. I went home shaking. He came home hours later and acted like I was the one in the wrong for showing up. He told me I was embarrassing him and violating workplace boundaries. I told him I wanted his phone. He refused. That was confirmation number 2. I contacted HR the next morning because I wasn't just his wife, I knew HR had strict policies against managers having relationships with direct reports. The woman he was with was on his team. HR told me they would look into it, but the tone was off, dismissive, almost irritated. 2 days later, my husband came home yelling that I ruined his career by going to HR. He said his boss handled it and that I needed to stay in my lane. That phrasing stuck with me. Handled it? How? Why was he so confident? So I dug deeper. I reached out to the same anonymous coworker again. This time, they told me everything. HR wasn't investigating. They were burying it. The woman he cheated with was the niece of the company's HR director. They didn't want a scandal. They didn't want him written up. They didn't want the company liable. They told the team to stay quiet, and HR labeled the entire situation as personal matters unrelated to the workplace. I was livid. Not just at my husband, but at the company trying to protect itself over the truth. And if they wanted a cover-up? They picked the wrong woman to silence. I gathered every shred of evidence I had, emails, timestamps, photos of them alone in the office after hours, screenshots from the anonymous coworker, even the badge record showing only their 2 cards scanned into the building those nights. Then I sent an email. Not to HR. Not to his boss. To the entire executive team, the compliance department, and, because I'm petty and thorough, the outside auditing firm the company uses for ethics violations. I attached everything. I wrote that HR was intentionally ignoring a manager-subordinate relationship, violating federal guidelines, and retaliating against the whistleblower who tipped me off. Chaos. Immediate, glorious chaos. My husband was suspended within 48 hours. HR was placed under internal review. The HR director was put on administrative leave. The coworker he was seeing? Transferred out of the department pending investigation. And the best part? The company's legal team contacted me to apologize for HR's misconduct. My husband still tried to spin it like I overreacted and destroyed his career out of jealousy. I told him I didn't destroy anything, I just exposed what he built. We're in the middle of divorce proceedings now, and I'm not losing a minute of sleep over it. He already moved in with his coworker, which tells you everything about who he really was. If HR hadn't tried to bury it, maybe things wouldn't have blown up this badly. But if you cheat on your wife and violate workplace policy, you don't get to play the victim. Not in my house. Not in your office. Not anywhere.